Hey guys, no Roused Hour episode for today. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I did want to make a video about a certain something that finally came in the mail. So a few videos ago, I did a recap of some rare RPGs I found, or some great finds, essentially. And amongst them it was a Dungeons and Dragons basic Dungeon Masters rulebook, the Mentzer edition, which I believe is from the Beckman line, post basic expert. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's accurate. Now, so thinking to myself, I was never really going to find the player's guide, which is what I really wanted out in the public, on the wild. I just ordered it from online, and it came today. So here is the one I found locally, of course, still equally uh, viable. But this is what I was really going for: the player's manual. It is in a slightly better condition comparable to the one I found out in the wild. So there is a comparison. They are practically the same, besides the change in text. That's what threw me off when I first saw this on the shelf. I'm like, oh my god, it's right there! But it is the Dungeon Master's Rulebook. Again, if you are a forever DM, this probably is going to be more valuable to you. Maybe. That's really up to you. I'm sure everyone wants both sides of the pie. So let's go through just an exploration. This is not a tutorial or a how to play the game. This is just a little dive into the player's manual from the Frank Mentzer edition. All right, so here is the opening credits. We have the preface, we have to use the book, acknowledgments, we have revised, there's the credits where the credit is due. Okay, we have the table of contents. Things are a little shuffled around to what I'm used to in modern RPGs, which is, again, a product of its time. But essentially, you start here, as it says, your character, dice, solo adventure, which is always great to see in any RPG, no matter the era. Then we have the Dungeon and Dragons characters. We have playing with a group, and then the glossary close. So let's go through this book page by page. There is quite a bit. So it's a start here, how to play, and a role play, essentially. Your first adventure. Artwork is fantastic in this book. Of course, we have the legendary cover picture there. We have charisma, wisdom, talking about the attributes. We have saving throw, in case you miss it. Basically, this just teaches you how to play the game. You get entry points, because this is, again, the basic player's guide. Ability scores, a character sheet. We have saving throws again, combat chart, normal items, money, treasure, the dice, the polyhedral dice, town business. We have battles, record keeping, into the caves. Then we're hitting the solo adventure. So, again, something I always like to see, but I don't play enough of in a lot of the RPGs I own. That's a regret on my part. Then we come up to the ending of it. Then we have details on the character classes. We have, let's see, I think I missed one here. So we have the cleric, fighter, thief, elf, magic user, halfling, and dwarf. This is when races were also considered classes before those were divided. We have the cleric. We have then the I think we're coming up to past the cleric. We have the cleric ability spells. The spells, of course. This is used when you make your character, obviously. You will see how this is actually before, what I'm used to is before the character creation process, once you get to it. We have the fighter, which is a personal favorite of mine. Then we have the character class explained here on the character sheet, what these classes can do. We have the thief. They're all laid out. I'm noticing, at least so far, we only got the cleric and the fighter. Then we have a sample character sheet here, filled out in a full-page format. Then the backside, which would be keep track of magic items, normal items, other notes, money, treasure, experience. I've definitely printed out this many times on my channel here. We've made many characters in the past. Then we have a grid here. Then we have a sample character list. We have magic, first level, and beyond. Then we have the magic user. So we're back to the classes. So there are some spells for the magic user. Gets its own section, of course. Then we have more spells. And then we have the thief, which it goes up to level 3. Again, this is basic. I almost forgot to mention this only goes up to level 3. Thief is another favorite of mine. Obviously, Thief can be definitely downplayed a bit, or is downplayed compared to future versions. Dwarf, and then we have the Halfling, the Hobbit, essentially, for you Harry Potter, not Harry Potter, sorry, your Lord of the Ring fans out there. And then the 3 samurais. So the dwarves, elves, and halflings. They all have their minimum score requirements, and their prime requisites much like the standard human classes, fighter, magic user, cleric, and thief. Then we have the actual portion of the character creation process. So this section right here, page 48 and 49, is, as I can see, where you essentially start your character creation process. The pages before are also part of that. So things are a little out of skew what you're used to. But making up your new character, rolling the ability scores, choosing a class, a checklist for the character, prime requisites. You have your mention here of the optional ones, or the characters who are non-human. You have your prime requisites for them. You can exchange ability scores, shuffle them around a bit. It's entirely up to the dungeon master. You might be able to roll up to 6 and assign them as you wish. 46, drop the lowest roll, which is a modern approach to D&D character creation. Roll your hit points. You have your usual assigned dice. So this is after. It was just D6 from the first original OD&D. Original D&D was just D6 entirely. Then you have your bonus and penalties for this ability scores laid out through here. You have your hit roll chart, which is basically your THACO, your THACO, however you want to pronounce it, your charisma adjustments, languages for your intelligence score. Then you have the final details of giving your character name and alignment, of course, which is important to many players out there. And of course, it reminds you players are not the characters, they're 2 separate things. You need to role play. Concept of role playing. Then you're playing in a group, tactics and play, character alignment, adventuring rules. We come up to encounter rules, missile fire table here. Playing in a group again, continues on, damage range, dexterity adjustment, the world of D&D gaming, so it gets a little meta from here, and the last page. So there is one section that I either missed or went through too quickly, and that was this. So again, in my opinion, my favorite D&D related book is the Rule Cyclopedia. It has everything from Beckme, the entire Beckme line minus Immortals, a mention of Immortals, but basic, basic, expert, companion, masters, essentially. It has everything. It's not how to teach you. It's basically a combination. It's one whole cyclopedia for the Beckme line. So it has all the items and weapons. This kind of compressed. This is, again, product of its time. Everything is kind of not arranged perfectly, but still, I wanted this so badly, and I'm still going to go make a character sheet through this book strictly without referring to the Rule Cyclopedia. I'm saying all this because you notice that this weapons and equipment list is kind of in the middle before that 48-49 is where you actually make the character. And it says that in that section that the weapons and equipment list is in the middle without really giving you a number. So this is the section right here I'm talking about. It is a quick little summary of how to make your character sheet. So is it here or is it later? Again, to me, it threw me off a bit, but it is in the book. So it has everything here. So you have your complete list of weapons and equipment, but as you can see, there's no dice assigned to them. You have your armor with pricing. So there is the gold piece price. You have your equipment, and then you have the other side here, which sums up the experience for levels 1 through 3. You have your thief special ability table, and encumbrance and the other non-human races. So, again, it's an honor to have this book in my collection. I wanted it so badly for a while because I'm just fascinated by the uh, Beckme line in general. It is by far my favorite point in D&D since the original, as I discovered it, a year or so ago, a couple of years at most. But again, because D&D 5 is the first ever RPG, I really put my heart and soul into learning, and then discovering that there are 4+ other versions out there with different branches from different creators, like the Mentzer here, Mulve, and all that. And then Gary Gygax, etc. Through my it blew my mind, and as much as I love AD&D and AD&2E, I just always found myself drawing back to basic expert, the Beckme line, and then there is a BX, there is the other BX before that, so to find that would be interesting. I want to make sure I'm not mistaken here. So if anybody who are, you know, uh, experienced with grew up playing these games or have far more knowledge than I do, you can correct me if this is not the Beckme book, but I believe it is, based on the research I quickly did some days ago. But still, to have a historical item here from the D&D line in my possession is just makes me very happy. That's why this has been a great weekend. This finally showed up at my front door, and I was like, okay, time to make a video about this, despite me feeling like garbage right now. But I still wanted to do a video about this. Now, I am tempted. I don't want to do it because I promised myself I'd keep the Lone Rousdower on the Fate D&D hack, but I have some ideas to house rule that into a possibility. Not completely making Rousdower into a full-on D&D character, but mixing them together. Let me know your thoughts on that. I know Fate doesn't really pull in a lot of viewers, but I really don't make these videos for viewership, but it does also add to the engagement factor. Again, I want to hear your thoughts on that. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on the BX, the older D&D games in general. Which one is your favorite? Do you like the AD&D line? Do you like the Beckme line? Do you like the original BX? Are you still stuck in the original OD&D, the box set? Do you prefer 3, 4, etc., 5, 5e, whatever? Please feel free to list your opinions. And as always, please subscribe, like, share, and comment. Ring that bell so you can stay informed of my new videos. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.